Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Roy Cannaday, and I am here for a Q&A today, so feel free to start hitting me up with questions and things like that. I am here to answer all sorts of different questions about all sorts of different stuff. I do a lot of editing and production management behind the scenes here at the Dice Tower. I'm also in a bunch of videos. I do reviews. I've been starting to do even more of my own reviews here recently, and I just do a whole bunch of different stuff. So hey, feel free to ask me some questions. I do know I think we have a contest, and I do want to bring up the information for that real quick, so that way you can get in on the contest goodness. But also, I need my computer to not be too slow while trying to bring that information up. Good times. But yeah, how's it going, everybody? Good morning, good morning. I am excited to be here with all of you. Let's see. Contest information. I'm going to try to be good and not forget the contest at the beginning, besides the fact that I'm having to look it up currently. All right, so this is for a $10 Game Nerds gift card, and this is you have to email us at contest@dicetower.com and put in the subject line film score. So, but yeah, and tell us what your most favorite epic game is currently. Also put your address in the description or in the actual body of the email as well, because it makes it easier to make sure. Well, I guess this is going to be a digital thing anyway, probably. Anyway, $10 Game Nerds gift card, contest@dicetower.com, film score. And Game Nerds is cool. You can get all sorts of different games there, order board games, get cool stuff. But yeah, I just edited the top-selling games from Game Nerds that went up last week. So there you go. Awesome. Well, let's see here if I have any questions. Make sure to fill me up with questions so I can get super far behind. Let's see. Lots of people talking. Lots of people saying all sorts of different stuff. Let's see. I mostly just see people talking. I think this is all the pre-show stuff. I went back to the very top of everything. All right. Questions for me. Do we have them? We shall see. Everybody saying, Roy, good morning. That studio seems very dark. The studio is always kind of interesting. There's a light over there that should be on. The studio is kind of interesting because we've been using it for the side shots, for like the live play. So when we try to do something different in here, the lights are not properly set up for it. So I know Tom does Q&As in here and does a bunch of different stuff. There's a light over there that isn't on, which probably doesn't help. But I can also brighten myself up digitally because, you know, I edit videos and stuff like that. I can figure out how to do these things. It's brighter all of a sudden. But yeah. Let's see. What is your favorite Michael Jackson song? I don't know. Like, I heard Michael Jackson songs on the radio. I know he was the king of pop back in the day. I'm not as big into that style of stuff. Oh, Chris is going to go try to turn the light on for me because he apparently was listening to me. There's even more light. And even, I'm blinded. But yeah. I don't know. Thriller? Was it ABC 123? Something like that. I guess that wasn't technically Michael Jackson. That was his family's group or whatever. But yeah. How often is Joey in the studio these days? Enough. I'm just kidding. No. Joey's around. He's doing like half stuff. He's in and out. Actually, sometimes I don't even know how often he's in the studio because he's all over the place. I think he was here this Sunday too, playing games. Like, he's a crazy man. He's a crazy man. But yeah, Joey's awesome. Let's see. What of these is actually questions? How would you repurpose the Death Star for good? I mean, if it was like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it could be used to get rid of planets that are in the way for like stuff. But if there was life on it, that seems still pretty unethical. I guess, I wonder, because like you see the Death Star blow up stuff, but you don't, I mean, I guess you see asteroids and all these rocks and stuff that happen, but it's kind of like crazy. I mean, I guess if there was a planet that was completely lifeless and you needed a way to break it up to use the minerals really quickly, you could blow up the planet. So that way you wouldn't have to land on the planet and get stuff, but it all seems very dangerous. Rocks flying through space at gigantic speed seems like an easy way to blow yourself up. Da-da-da-da-da. After I receive my copy, if I bring it to the convention, would you be willing to sign my copy? Definitely. I would be as excited, if not more excited than you would be about signing your copy of Last Light. I don't know. I'm a nerd. I don't know. This is my first published game design that I'm going to be having, and I feel like I'm going to be geeking out every single time I see someone play it. I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, you're playing this dumb game. The designer's an idiot, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. You know, I'm really excited to see people play it. I'm really excited to see people get it to their table. So people coming up to me I think we're going to have it at Gen Con. People coming up to me at Gen Con and stuff like that and asking me to sign it, I will gladly sign it, and I will be super excited about it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to. Also, that was another thing that I was like, when people start getting their copy, they better tag me in all of their pictures online because I want to repost it and see people playing because I'm like really excited about it happening. Will the expansion for Last Light be called Lastest Light or Last of Us Light? I mean, not to be too much spoiler, I don't think I have a name for it yet. The 8-player expansion that came in the actual campaign that we did is called Last Light Infinity. So I guess that means that Gray Fox wants to do infinity more expansions, but we'll see. They've already said that they were excited about continuing to support the game, which I guess means that it's doing well so far and people haven't even got it yet. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, let's see. Have you seen, are you going to see the new Dungeons & Dragons movie? I wanted to see it. Like, I want to see it. I would love to, like, go and see it. I know I'm going to go see Mario with my family this week, which I'm super stoked about. Logan's been asking about it like crazy, and my Scotty and Violet have been going crazy about it too. So, like, everybody's, like, really excited about seeing the Mario movie. I'm honestly excited about it too. I don't know. I know some people are down on Chris Pratt here and there, but I enjoy his stuff. I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, so it'll be interesting to see this. Dungeons & Dragons I haven't had a chance to see yet, but I'm interested in it. I've heard good things. I saw everybody posting their D20 popcorn bucket, which looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of funny. But I'd love to see it. I just haven't had a chance to go see it in the movies yet, but maybe someday. Oh, funny. Happy Monday, everyone. It's a Monday. Oh, have you played Beast? Has the Dice Tower received it? How is it? Should I get it? I don't know. I haven't seen Beast. You're saying it's hidden movement games? I like hidden movement identity. That sounds interesting, like if it's multiple things. Yeah, I don't really know much about it, so I can't really speak to it too much. Does Brian feel jealous about another Dice Tower magician? That sounds like something Joey should answer, not me. But I think it's fun. They make fun of each other all the time. Especially, they were both on the cruise, so there was a lot of bantering back and forth. Joey was on my table team or whatever that we had for a game show we did, and then Brian was on the other table, and they make jabs at each other. It's just fun. It's just funny. I'm sure they enjoy talking behind the scenes, talking shop about all the magician stuff. That does sound fun. Are you going to fix the 3D printer and start making more cool stuff? Okay, man, the 3D printer at the Dice Tower saga here is crazy. So it's a Prusa that I built, and then I went on vacation and it stopped working mysteriously. And after that, it has, like, I tried to work on it and I did stuff. This was back at the old studio. I tried to fix it. I'm like, I think the hot end needs to be replaced. But I was worried about taking the thing apart and putting it back together with a new hot end, and the amount of time that would take away from normal work hours. So then we had Brian Drake took it because he really likes 3D printing, and he replaced the hot end and got it kind of working, but then it still has issues here and there. And then now that Joey's here, Joey's also in 3D printing, and I know Camilla's messed with it, Joey's messed with it, Brian's messed with it, I've messed with it. We've all tried to work on this 3D printer and get it working. It's so interesting. Like, 3D printing is its own beast. Like, I used to have a segment where I talked about doing it and I loved doing the 3D printing stuff, but when things aren't working and trying to figure out and tinker with and get them working just right, it's not user-friendly at all, and it's hard to get things just right. So yeah, you really have to kind of set things up and do things the right way with them, and things will break, and then you have to fix it again. So I know Joe was working on it. I saw that he printed out some stuff. I didn't see anything that ended up being super good quality, so I think they're still having like stringing issues and different issues like that there. So I'm sure Joe would love for you to remind him how much we've all failed at getting the 3D printer working. Are you also ahored by Joey's favorite taco topping being green olives? I've never had green olives on a taco, and that does seem crazy to me. But the cool thing is we all had tacos that day for lunch, and Joey didn't have green olives on his because they don't do that at a Mexican restaurant. So, but yeah. But Ruthie made me pico de gallo and like a bunch of really good like stuff for like Mexican food. We also had chorizo on our tacos. So actually, I have still some taco stuff in the refrigerator that I need to eat. But yeah, tacos are good. Roy, did you ever have a moment thinking about giving Last Light a different theme during your initial design? I knew I wanted a space game, and originally I was trying to make some sort of, I don't know, more miniature-y space game. I was like, I want a space game where I can build up stuff and then send my ships out and take over these different spots, objectives, and things like that. More Battlelore-ish, I think. But then they came out with a Battlelore space game after I had already abandoned that idea. But yeah, I was always space for me. The heat death of the universe thing kind of came along a little bit later, and I just really enjoyed just listening to a bunch of like astrophysics stuff and science stuff. The whole heat death of the universe is a very interesting concept about like all the stars going out and how everything would end if everything just continued as it is. And an interesting thing is I've also listened to science people being like, we don't know exactly that that's what would 100% happen, or if things are just going to like replenish and refresh here and there. But yeah, it's just interesting to think about these alien races converging on a star. When I first made the game, I was just trying to make a really quick 4X game, and I knew most of the time publishers change names of game anyway. I was calling it Supersonic 4X, which is really dumb, and it was kind of a joke at the time. But after it actually started being good, I was like, okay. And the Last Light thing really fit the theme well with trying to gather light right before that star goes out. Let's see here. What's next? Oh, I made your day with the Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy reference. 42. How about that? That's a quote, right? Something like that. I also gave the meaning of life. I don't know that. Is it worth it buying Summoner Wars starter set for the 2 extra decks? Are they too simplistic when compared to the master decks? I don't think they're any different, really. I think they're really good stuff. I'm guessing this is 2nd edition stuff you're talking about as well. I remember playing them. They were both fun. I think it's like the Tundra and Phoenix. Tundra, Orcs, Phoenix Elves, something like that. Or maybe I'm still getting that confused with the 1st edition. But honestly, we've just been throwing all of the decks together in a box. And my favorite way to play Summoners Wars is I don't really do a lot of deck building, but I just grab one of the decks and play it off against another one of the decks. I pick a deck, you pick a deck, and we just randomly get one of them and then just face off against each other. I mean, most of the time, me and Tom are playing the new ones that come out, so that way we can play test them and review them and see what we think about them. Tom has mentioned about eventually doing like a how is Summoner Wars with deck building added in? Like now that there's a bunch of stuff options for that. And then maybe Tom will do lists of like his favorite like top 10 of the guys or the different decks that are out there. It's kind of funny because I feel like my taste and his taste in those are going to be very different just because our play style in games. But yeah, I really enjoy everything that's come out for Summoner Wars. I like all of the decks, honestly, in different ways. And it's fun to have them there to be able to mix them up, you know, because I don't like playing the same thing over and over again. I'm not trying to master Summoner Wars. I'm just trying to have fun and have like an even match when I can throw any deck up against any other deck. Dear Roy, have you ever tried not being such a nerd? Asking for a friend who is me. I'm my own best friend. I don't think it's possible to not be so much of a nerd. I've tried for years. I haven't really tried. But I was kind of born in it. I was shaped by the nerddom. I was molded by it. I did a At the Table with Eric where I talked about my history growing up gaming and talked about all the nerdy stuff that I did growing up and my dad kind of leading me into all of the tabletop gaming and nerdy stuff because I was kind of like, it was going to be crazy. So I was going to be a nerd regardless. Will you do a prequel to Last Light? I don't currently have anything in the books, but I'm not gonna ever say never, you know. I wouldn't mind like if I do designs like going and trying to do different themes or just different things in general as well. I think Last Light's gonna be like my Space 4X thing, but then maybe try to branch off to something completely different from there, you know. Let's see. Ha 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 ha. First Light. Oh, I get it. It was a joke all along. I think the Sarcadians game is called First Light, so I think that's already taken. How are you doing with no Marvel Champions news lately? I think there's technically news. There's this like spoiler brick wall thing that Fantasy Flight put up. It's like, oh, it's a brick wall. And then they showed an outline of a person that looks like Cable, and then an outline of a person that looks like Domino. I'm guessing the next box set is going to be X-Force. I have nothing to back that up on just besides the fact of I look at those outlines, I'm like, I think this is what they are. And then I click and look at the comments, and everybody's agreeing with me what they think it is. So I think they're going to come out with an X-Force big box, and that'll be cool to have Cable and Domino be the main people. It'll be cool to see who the bad guys will be for that. Maybe Mr. Sinister, maybe some other different people. It'd be really cool to see who they're facing off against. I love the big boxes because it just gives you so many more villains to face off against. But honestly, there's so much stuff for Marvel Champions. I'd love to go back and play through more of it again, but I really do enjoy playing new stuff and reviewing it, and it's always a blast. Let's see. No question on the screen, Rory is a rebel. I'll just leave this one here for a while. Anyway, I forgot to do it. I don't do these that often or that frequently, so it's like, oh crap, I should actually like click the comments on there. There we go. Ooh, I saw your engagement on the Dice Tower cruise. When is the wedding? Will it be game themed? I don't think it's going to be game themed. I think we're planning on trying to do something next year. We're trying to save up for our honeymoon and stuff like that as well. Ruthie really wants to do, I guess we're more into like punk emo stuff. Her favorite band's Green Day and stuff like that. And like we're trying to maybe do something more along that aesthetic. It would be really fun. But we don't have a solid date, but we're thinking sometime next year. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to pull it all together. And I'm really excited about honeymoon stuff, so that'll be cool too. Just gotta make it actually happen. I know. Let's see. Have you received any new pieces for Last Light? I haven't received any of the pieces myself. Well, actually, that's wrong. I received the dice. They sent me a copy of the dice because I was trying to make resin molds of them so I could make my own silly little custom dice for, like, I guess my copy of the game and maybe to, like, give out if I saw people playing it at a convention. But yeah, they sent me some of the new dice and they look really cool. I haven't got any of the crazy other things that they're doing, like the light up planets and different... the different like resin planets and things like Light Up Star and resin planets and stuff like that. I'm just excited to see it all come together because like I've been working on this for years and years, and it'll be really cool to see people playing it on the table. Like that's the thing I'm most excited about, is seeing other people playing it when I'm not demoing it to them, when I'm not teaching them to play it, for them to grab it off the shelf at the Dice Tower library, grab it off the shelf at their house and actually play it with their friends. That's the part that's really gonna just like blow me away. But yeah. And of course, tag me in pictures and take pictures all the time and post them everywhere because that would be amazing. Dice Tower chat is the best. Oh, wow. What heroes are on the table the most for Marvel Champions at the moment? I mostly have only been playing the new stuff recently. I've been playing a lot of the X-Men stuff. I basically have all of my X-Men stuff for the game set aside in a different box, and then all the rest of my stuff in a big box. So I've mostly been playing X-Men. I love playing Wolverine, just because he's so fast and so much damage. I've had a blast with that. And it was cool playing with Storm and stuff like that as well. I've just been playing with a bunch of the new stuff recently. But I keep going back to playing against like Sentinels over and over again, and playing against just the stuff from the X-Men set, just because that's what I'm really excited about currently. And I love X-Men, so that kind of helps me continue to be excited about it, you know. But yeah, I really should play through the campaign again, because that was a lot of fun. But some of those people are rough. The Brotherhood of Mutants is terrible, like really hard. It took multiple times to beat them, and then like Magneto was just super rough in the game. But yeah, definitely love it. Is Ruthie still the Space Lord of Ziya? Probably. Like, we haven't played Ziya again. That's one we should really get back to table. I wonder if my my two oldest kids are old enough to now mess around with Ziya. because I tried to teach it to them when they were younger, and it was a little bit too much for them, even though they've played a bunch of board games. But it seems like the kind of game that would just be really fun to play as a family group, to just explore space and do all that stuff. So yes, Ruthie is the reigning space lord of Ziya. Okay. What Unmatched characters would you like to see? I was thinking X-Men, Chuck Norris, Andy Griffith. I mean, if they made Chuck Norris, wouldn't it just be too OP, you know? Yeah, honestly, I like all the different wacky stuff they have in Unmatched. And I'm actually going to be playing Unmatched again. I'm going to be playing it tomorrow during a live stream. We're having a live stream tomorrow for that with the new adventure stuff. I'm really excited to see how this cooperative mode works out. I think it's cool that they have aliens in there too. I think I'm going to try to play Tesla if Z doesn't take that one away from me. But it'd be really cool to see all of the different stuff that they're coming out with. I'm not sure what character that I'd want to see the most. I just enjoy when it's very like juxtaposed, like, oh man, this character's fighting that character. That's very interesting, just because that's kind of what Unmatched is to me. I haven't played the Marvel stuff against other stuff too much, but it would be cool to see it like all mixed together, you know. But yeah, good stuff. I was gonna say, since they have aliens in the thing, I was telling Z that it'd be really cool to see like the like Fox Mulder from like X-Files or something be one of the characters. I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting. I have green olives on my nachos. Yes, not usual, for sure. Roy, stop being so aggressive. Winning, LOL. I do think it's funny that people think that I'm like super antagonistic or aggressive in games. I'm not normally that combative in stuff. I do try to go for whatever the victory condition is in the game. I try to focus on that. I try to play to the best of my ability, try to see the combos, try to build that stuff up. I do like games with a lot of interaction in it, but if there's combat, I want there to be an option of combat, but not even necessarily get involved in the combat. Like, I would never like attack somebody for no reason. I would attack them if it's like, oh, that's going to lead towards victory, going to lead towards getting points, that sort of thing. Just like when you play Twilight Imperium, you shouldn't be fighting people all over the place for no reason. You need to only really be fighting if it's going to lead you to getting a point, which is going to lead you to winning the game. I'm very strategic about the stuff. And I can stop being so aggressive. I do pull back here and there. I would never tell people though. But yeah, I played a lot of like competitive card games back in the day, so I'm used to being like, okay, let's go for the win. Let's figure this out. Let's try to maximize our stuff, min-max this and that, and try to do the right thing. But yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy that in games, like trying to do your best, you know? A lot of games fall apart if you're not actually trying to win. So it's good. This makes me sad. Roy, have you played Earth? Was it earth-shattering to you, or did it make you giddy? I really want to play Earth. I haven't played it. It was one of the games that I really wanted to play at West, but didn't actually get an opportunity to play it. I kept saying over and over again, people were like, oh, what do you want to play? Oh, what do you want to play? I'm like, Earth. I want to play Earth. I did play the Star Wars deck building game, which was the other game on my list, but I never got a chance to play Earth. Mike talks really high. Basically everybody in the studio talks super highly about it. I think another copy just came in as well. I just need to get somebody to teach me or just get a chance to play Earth, because everybody keeps buzzing about it and it sounds really cool. But yeah, and the planet and stuff. Let's see. How is things going? Okay, have you played Marvel Zombies? So I haven't played Marvel Zombies yet. I haven't played either of the versions. I did take home the version you can get at Barnes & Noble with the little standy guys, and I really want to play that. My kids actually seemed interested in playing that as well. So that's one of the ones that I'm probably going to get to the table super soon. But normally the zombie sides are not as interesting to me, because like the choices are always extremely readily apparent. Like you just move forward and roll dice. But I'm thinking with like the different mechanics of like eating different people and having like the hunger and stuff like that, I'm going to be interesting to see how it all comes together. I'm kind of excited to see how it works. I really enjoyed Massive Darkness 2 because it had more of those meaningful decisions of your little mini game and how you play all that stuff out. It felt like more than just like walk forward and do this thing. It was like, oh, combo this spell with this, or move this thing like this so you can do this and get these combos. I like combos in games. I like things where you have to think and have meaningful decisions. And when a game is just like walk forward and that's it, then it's not that exciting to me. Walk forward, roll some dice, Have you played on Magic Arena? What do you think? I played Magic Arena for a while. I just never got super big into it just because I feel like, man, it's a lot of commitment to actually get good at the stuff. And I don't know. I played a ton of Hearthstone as well. I played Hearthstone like crazy when it came out. Magic Arena is cool. I like Magic. There's something about Magic Arena where it hurts even more when you have like those mana issues and stuff like that. I don't know why, because it's like at least if I'm playing face to face, and be like, play a land, go. And in Magic Arena, it's like, play a land. I don't have anything to play. Go through all of these steps and be real sad about it, and then you go. You know, at least in Magic, it's less of a faux pas to just be like, scoop, let's start another game. You know, but I still enjoy Magic here and there. One of my best memories of Magic from the last year is we played a cube draft with Bruce and Z and several other people. We played at the retreat, and that was a lot of fun. Being able to draft cards. 'Cause I used to draft a ton when I worked at Target back in the day, and we play with our different decks we made. It's always fun to do that stuff, but haven't played too much Magic Arena. I am interested in it, though. I'm really interested in the Lord of the Rings stuff that's about to come out for Magic, so I might have to try to grab some of that. This is from Favorite Game Friday. Does Chris record under the table often? You'd be surprised how often he does record under the table. He's just normally under the table in general. Like, I'm like, come on, Chris. Like, you can join the rest of us out here. Come on. Roy, will you ever create a Lord of the Rings theme game in space or not? I really haven't thought about designing an actual Lord of the Rings theme game. Mostly because like those IPs, like it's hard to like design a game with an IP on it unless you have like a publisher that you know it's going to be going to. And that's the normal thing that's kind of weird with IP games in general, is the fact of like, people want to design a game that love the theme, but then they can't get it to a publisher that can actually publish that game. Then sometimes publishers will come to a designer and be like, design a game in this IP, and then that designer doesn't know the IP as well, or doesn't have a game that's like tailor-made to that, and then it ends up feeling like watered down or not matching the theme as much. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Lord of the Rings games have been done so much, and there's so many I enjoy. I enjoy the LCG card game. I enjoy Journeys in Middle-earth. I enjoy the War of the Ring. I enjoy War of the Ring, the card game. I enjoy so many of them. Normally when I design games, it's because there's a hole in the hobby, or there's a hole in the games that I want to play. And I also have a problem that if somebody comes out with a game that feels like too similar, or like exactly like kind of what I was doing, I'll just play that game. You know, I don't need to, I design games that I want to play. I already work in the industry. Like, I don't need to design games to make a living, really. So I'm trying to make stuff that's good and stuff that people want, I guess, and trying to figure out what people want or what I want, you know, is kind of an interesting thing in and of itself. So I think there's a ton of amazing Lord of the Rings games out there, and I know they're still making even more. So it feels like a crowded space, and it would have to stand apart so much to make it worth it. I think it could be done. I think I would have a blast doing it, but I would rather create things that are going to be something people don't already have, you know, that sort of thing. Okay. What are your favorite anime style games? I know there's some that I haven't played, but I really would love to see more of them. I feel like anime in general is going to get bigger and bigger. I don't know if it's just in Miami, but the fact of like there's so much anime on Netflix, there's so many people around with like anime car stickers on their car and like going to these different anime conventions, things are getting bigger and bigger with all that stuff. I think with the younger generation, which is not currently where board gamers normally are, but like the younger generation are super into it. They're super into all the stories of it, all the different characters, all the different stuff. It's kind of interesting because the classic animes people keep going back to over and over again and finding again. So it'd be interesting to see like solid games. I've played several anime games, like board games, but I haven't seen ones that have super like struck me as being amazing so far. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing more of that style stuff. But yeah, I'd love to see more anime games. I know people get mad at me every time. They're like, what about this game? What about that game? Okay, like I really, some of those I might need to play still, and then some of them like it didn't grip me as much as it might have gripped you. Oh, Roy's doing a space worker placement game, space skirmish game, space dice placement game. Nope, not at all. I don't think any of my prototypes for stuff are space other than Last Light. I'll probably, and I'm working in space, I'll probably just be working on more Last Light. But yeah, there is that. X-Force, yes! Yeah, I'm excited. What are your favorite bands? Currently, my favorite band is MXPX. I really enjoy them. I really enjoy the Wonder Years. I've been listening to a lot of them. I've always liked Newfound Glory. It's a lot of pop punk stuff. Blink-182, Brand New, Taking Back Sunday. I listen to that stuff all the time. I've been listening to Falling in Reverse with Ruthie. She's been really digging on that one as well. So just a bunch of different bands. Just different stuff in general. I've listened to a lot of like hyper poppy type stuff, and sometimes I listen to dubstep things. I know this is all stuff that probably most people here are just like, I hate it, but I really enjoy what I enjoy. It's fun. But yeah, I was listening to Cruella in the car with the kids the other day, so just all sorts of different stuff. But yeah, mostly pop punk and alternative is what I normally jam on. But yeah, MXPX for life. I have an MXPX tattoo, so I'm basically not allowed to not like MXPX from now on. So, but yeah, good stuff. Do you have any Easter plans? I have to make sure my kids aren't watching. But yeah, we're gonna do the whole eggs thing up. I've got stuff for Easter baskets for the kids. We like doing all of that stuff. And just having a good Easter, you know. I really enjoy doing it now that we have like all 4 kids together running around, like trying to find eggs, trying to get stuff with the baskets and all that stuff. It's just really fun. And I don't know, it's just fun to see kids happy. And me and Ruthie have fun like hiding all of that stuff as well. So good stuff. Best Easter candy. All right, I know it might be controversial, and it might not be controversial. I really like the Cadbury Creme eggs. They are insanely sweet. They are probably terrible, terrible, terrible for you, but Cadbury Creme eggs are like amazing. And I literally haven't had one this year. I've had Peeps several times already this year. We also had the Peeps Pepsi, which was kind of gross. But yeah, Cadbury Creme eggs, where it's at. That's what I'm really down with. I need to get some. All right. Okay. What player count would you recommend for War of the Ring, the card game? It seems like 4 seems to be the best, and 2 players isn't as viable. I've played 2 players several times with Chris. It's just more overhead that you have to keep track of. Basically what we did is we played the mode where you don't run 2 different decks. You just run one mixed all together. You end up drawing more cards. You have more options, and it has to be a little bit more thinky because you have to sometimes build stuff in reserve to do in the future. And then you have like a ring that you can flip to draw extra cards each turn. It's interesting because the order you do stuff in is very important in that game. And I enjoyed it a lot at 2 players. You have to be, I think it's best to play it first at 4 players and kind of know the game, and then maybe play at 2 players, or play, sorry about that. Or play one of the smaller versions, like they have a Fellowship version or a 2 Towers version where you take a bunch of the cards out. It's on Board Game Geek, and you play like a smaller version of the game. Like first play the 2 Towers small version, and then maybe play a longer version of the game. Or just stick with just playing the different ones that the designer made based on the book, so that way they're shorter games. Maybe play through one, then play through another, then play through another. That would be fun, just on different days. But yeah, me and Chris had a blast playing at 2 players, so I don't think it's not viable at 2. I do think it is best at 4, but at 4, you might have some rounds where you're not doing a whole lot just because you didn't get cards that match the current site you're at. So 2 players, you're going to be doing stuff every turn, so that's kind of cool. Let's see, what's next? I'm working remotely today and paused Futurama so that I could watch this. I hope you feel special. I feel very special. If you're gonna pause Futurama, then it's crazy. At least you can go back to it, you know. Or if this gets too boring, you can just press play. You're probably already gone, but it's okay. Questions. Where are the questions? Holy smokes, he paused Futurama? High praise. Thanks, Chris. What is your favorite hero deck for Marvel Champions? I used to always say Doctor Strange because he was really fun. I think my favorite currently that I'm digging on a ton is Wolverine, just because he does damage so fast. I love using life as a resource. That's one of my, I really like that in games. I know Tom doesn't like that in games. I very much like using life as a resource in games, just 'cause it's another way to get stuff out on the board quickly. And you have that whole pressure luck of like not accidentally killing yourself. It's kind of interesting. It just makes for faster games. But yeah, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna say Wolverine's my current favorite. But I'm having a blast with him. And you know, I've always been an aggression player when I play because I like to do damage as fast as possible. I know it makes for quick games and it makes for games that can kind of be a little bit lucky if you get the wrong thing. But I like dealing out tons of damage. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Oh wow, people are talking about all sorts of different stuff. Did you watch the Rings of Power? So I started watching Rings of Power and I wasn't able to get through all of it. I kept trying to like restart it and kept rewatching it. I probably should go back to it. I've heard people say they enjoy it, but for some reason it just lags to me. I know the characters, I know what's going on. I'm like well entrenched in all of the Lord of the Rings stuff, but I didn't make it all the way through it. So I still have to make that happen. Hey Roy, do you know your Myers-Briggs type, like personality type? I know I've done this test a couple times. I think it's like more of like the performer personality where I can be introverted sometimes, but when I'm in a group of people or in like a party setting or like having to perform, I'm good at like bringing it out and making stuff happen. But then I still need to go back and recharge. I'm also very introspective, I think. I don't know the type name. I wish I knew exactly what it was. I know me and Ruthie did it not that long ago. But I'm also like very feeling and empathetic and compassionate and stuff like that, which, you know, is whatever. Don't hurt my feelings. But yeah, good stuff. Let's see. Have you played either of Tom's games? If so, what do you think? I'm actually really upset that I haven't. We had a copy of Vicious Fishes floating around, and like I set it up once like on Kenny's desk and like took a picture of me and Kenny like messing around with it, and Tom there would be like ha 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 as like a joke just because we found one in the studio. But yeah, I'm interested in that stuff. I've always wanted to play Nothing Personal, but I never got to the table. I like the idea of negotiation. I like the idea of like the craziness and the interaction in the game, and the whole like kiss the ring sort of thing sounds interesting to me. But like no one ever taught it to me. I didn't have anybody in my game group that was playing it at the time. But it definitely sounds interesting. But yeah, I would love to play it. So I don't have any actual experience playing it. I do think Tom downplays too much about like his accomplishments there. It's really cool that he has 2 published games that people have played, and he said he still has people come up to him saying that they love Nothing Personal all the time, and that's a blast, you know? That's really cool. What elements of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea did you incorporate into Last Light, if any? I wouldn't say... I try to make, like... It doesn't make sense to make a 4X game that feels the exact same as another 4X game at all. I can't think of... There are some similarities here and there, but they were done by other games before Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Like, there are exploration tokens and things that flip over in Last Light. But there are also that in Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, but there's also Distant Suns and Twilight Imperium before that. There's also every other game that has face-down exploration tokens that you flip. There are cards that in Scythe, you go to those locations, you take the token, and you draw the card. It's just a normal exploration mechanic. Yeah, what? I don't know. I mean, it's just... I don't think Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea was overall as much of an inspiration as other things, you know? Twilight Imperium probably was even more of an inspiration, but I tried to diverge from all that stuff. I tried to make it very different. The action selection is extremely different. The combat is quicker and different. The exploration is all positive things. So in some of these other games, you would explore stuff and negative things would happen to you, which makes more sense, like thematically, like sometimes you run into things that are bad. But as far as like a gameplay standpoint, nobody wants to go out and explore and have their stuff get blown up. It's just a negative gameplay experience. So I made it so that all the exploration in Last Light is all positive effects. So I kind of tried to change that up and make it very different. So that way you want to explore things as fast as possible. It makes exploring exciting so that way you can get that benefit before the other players do. And it just makes for a positive game experience. So that way, you know, people are not scared to like step forward to space and get blown up, because that's never going to happen. You're going to step forward to space and get to play a free technology or get an action card back or be able to get a free ship or get resources. Stuff that's going to help you build up your civilization, which is not how life works, but it's more fun in games, you know? But yeah, let's see. Oh, wow. Roy, are there any plans to cover D&D or other role-playing games on the Dice Tower? We've talked about this sort of stuff before, but we're really not trying to dilute the brand in any way. Most of our fans here and most of the people that consume content on the Dice Tower are very much board game fans. We even try to shy away a little bit from collectible card games and stuff like that. We don't cover Magic. We don't cover just other like role-playing game systems or other collectible card games or just other types of tabletop games. We'll do living card games, gets close to that, I guess. But we're just trying to not alienate our audience by being a everything tabletop channel. We're just very much focused on board games. That being said, in the Kickstarter, we did have a thing where we're going to be playing a role-playing game. And I think Tom still has all that stuff in the work. We're supposed to do several sessions of a role-playing game. He's talked about getting books together and us talking about like, hey, maybe we'll just record making our characters together and stuff like that, because that'll be a fun experience. So I'm definitely very excited about that. But like covering and reviewing the different books or looking at the different stuff that comes out for it, I don't think we really plan on necessarily doing that. There are the occasional role-playing game books that come through the studio just because people, I guess, don't know, or they just end up trying to like just to do it, but it's really hard to like do a role-playing system. You have to play so much to like be able to properly cover that sort of thing. And we don't want to water down our brand mostly. I think that's what Tom would say. I don't know. It's all up to Tom. You know, maybe Tom gets on a role-playing game kick and like then we start doing it. Who knows? I did answer a bunch of music questions already. Oh, wow. What are your favorite RPG classes? Or what is your favorite RPG class? I think I really liked the Sword Mage because I like magic users. I think in general, I like sorcerers and sword mages and stuff like that. I like being able to have those options of doing different magic and things like that in games. Just because I think it's very interesting and having all the different powers. And I feel like a sword mage is like, oh, they get to have like a melee weapon, but also get to infuse it with magic and still do a little bit of spells here and there and have like protection spells and ward spells and just different cool stuff. I normally like to be any of the striker damage type classes in general. Like I'll play a rogue, I'll play a sorcerer, I'll play a ranger, just anybody who's doing a bunch of damage just because it's like, let's go, let's get in there. And also having like abilities that can help you like track stuff or problem solve stuff or like different things is always really fun. I'm not normally like the healers, like I'm not as big into like fighter type characters that they just stand there and take the hits, you know. I want somebody who's maybe more of a glass cannon and can go in there and do a bunch of damage. Just because, you know, I play aggressive decks. I play very much the same in a bunch of different games. I like to get to the point of the game, blow up the stuff, you know, follow the objectives, help the team win. It's fun. So, making it happen. What is the best filling for enchiladas? Chicken, steak, cheese, or other? I know this might be an anathema, but I really like ground beef, which is, I guess, close to steak. But I like ground beef enchiladas. Honestly, you can't go wrong. I mean, they're all good. Just cheese is kind of boring. I like protein, like meat, in my enchiladas, but all good. Honestly, all good. Now I really want enchiladas. Thanks for that. Let's see. What's going on? What's next here? Did you design other games before you realized you had a winner with Last Light? I think I talked about this a little bit on the At the Table episode with Eric. I talked a lot about history stuff and things like that. I designed like a ton of stuff like as a kid growing up, and then like even before I started doing board game media stuff, I had worked on several different games. I had like played a ton of like Magic the Gathering, and I'd like come out of that and started playing board games more, and I wanted to design my own game, not knowing board game mechanics as well as I do now, and tried to make a post-apocalyptic card game that's very much like, it was more like a partish style game, but you're kind of like blowing each other up. I don't know if there's a game that I can compare it to too much currently, but you were gaining technologies and gaining mutations and like using those to knock out the other characters. At the time, I didn't know like, oh, it's a really big faux pas to have player elimination in a game. Well, duh, I know that now, and everybody knows that now, but this was more than a decade ago, and like it was like, okay, I actually showed it to Clever Mojo Games, and they're like, oh, we're not really down on the player elimination thing, and me being new to board games in general, or new to modern board games at the time, I didn't know how to solve that problem. And I've thought about sometimes going back to that and being like, oh, how would I change this out? How would I do this or that? And then there's been so many others. There's been so many things, and some stuff that might be in the works that like might happen someday. It's just finding the time to work on design, and make it solid. Because I'm never going to put out something that's okay, I have plenty of game designs. A lot of them are in the trash can. I don't want to be someone who throws games against the wall and sees if they stick. I want to make things that have a place in the industry, stand apart, do something different, which are all not that easy to figure out how to do. So yeah, I'm not going to have okay games that I'm trying to push out there. I want things that people are going to play and people are going to want and deserve a place in people's collections, So we'll see. Maybe someday I'll have another game come out. I feel like I'm so far behind the 8 ball with how long it takes to get through the whole publishing part. From any time period, can you give us a few of your favorite video games? Oh my goodness. Super Mario RPG is amazing. I loved the original Zelda when I played through it. I love Dragon Warrior. It's a blast. I think I beat both those games. I beat Super Mario RPG. I really loved Link to the Past. Link to the Past is probably my favorite video game. I like Nintendo, Super Nintendo stuff. I always had fun with Super Smash Brothers and GoldenEye and things like that when you get to 64. And I played a ton of Pokemon. Like, when I had a Game Boy, like the original gray Game Boy, I had Pokemon Red, my brother had Pokemon Blue, we had other friends who had Red and Blue / Yellow, and having those Game Boys with the little link cable and trading back and forth and battling your Pokemon was always a blast. I played through the original Pokemon several times, beating the Elite Four, and I think I've played basically all of the mainline Pokemon games, not to completion, but I've at least played them some. I've always enjoyed, I enjoyed like JRPG type stuff, so being able to play those kind of games was always fun. But yeah. Let's see here. Next question. Oh goodness. Is there a game you liked but could be improved by expansions? If so, what kind of expansion? I like thematic games, and I think there's a very different thing of a expansion for a thematic game versus an expansion for a Euro game, and it feels different. Like I almost always want, honestly, I enjoy expansions in general. If I like a game, I basically want expansions for it. If I've played a game enough, I basically want more content for that game just because I like that game and I want more reasons to get it back to the table. Sometimes things make it more convoluted or harder to get back to the table if you have that expansion added in. Honestly, my favorite kinds of expansions are ones that just add more stuff to the game and not necessarily change up the game mechanically, so that way you can still get it back to the table just as easily. But yeah, what game? Is there a game that could be improved with expansions? I don't know. I'd love to see more stuff for like Ziya and things like that. The game's already good. The first expansion improved it a ton, but I want to explore more. I really want another expansion for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, because I might be the only one, but I've played that game to death, and it would breathe new life back into it for me if I had an expansion for it. But yeah, I've played it so much that I'm just kind of like, yeah, I've kind of seen what this game has to offer at this point, and I know it's only a me problem, because I played Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea probably more than Scott Holmes. But yeah, it's all good. Let's see. What is your newest tattoo? So I did get my Dice Guy tattoo for the Dice Tower, but I actually have my watch over it here. Me and Ruthie both got our favorite video games tattooed on us. I got basically the Triforce for Zelda, Legend of Zelda. And Ruthie got Galaga on her wrist. So we both have video game tattoos, because she's a beast at Galaga. Like, she'll wreck. Like, we'll go, every time we go to the arcade, it's like, put in a quarter for Galaga, and Ruthie will be playing it for a while, just because she's like so good at the game. But yeah, they like match. We both have like the like nebula looking like border around both of them. She has like the little ship on hers, and I have the Triforce. But yeah, it's my most recent tattoo. I want to get more tattoos. It's so hard to get tattoos as a responsible adult, just because they're so expensive. It's like tattoos or pay the bills, you know, that sort of thing. But hey, if I ever have a full sleeve, you'll know that I'm doing okay financially. So there you go. This happened when I didn't have as much responsibility. Let's see. Oh, do all of your kids like to play board games? Immensely. It's so awesome. Like, actually, Scotty and Violet grew up playing games. And since we're a blended family, Emma and Logan weren't as familiar with games, but like, they love it as well. They're always asking me to play. So it's so much fun. Like, I'm excited about playing games with all 4 of them this week. It's going to be a blast. But yeah, we play a ton of different kids' games. And it's kind of cool to see the games that I played with Scotty and Violet when they were young, playing them with Emma and Logan now that they're kind of like the age for that. We play a ton of Go Away Monster and Concept Kids, and we play even simple stuff like Memory Match and stuff like that. Those are the games that I recently played with Emma and Logan, and they have a blast with it. And I love the fact that like Ruthie jumps in and plays these games with us. We just all have a blast playing games as a family together. I really, really love it, and it's so funny because me and Ruthie will play Concept Kids, and we'll try to like slow roll, like not jump in there and guess. And then sometimes we're like, all right, we're just gonna go hard this time and like guess as fast as possible on the animal names. But it's really fun to like. It's really just fun to play games with your family, like come together around a game and just have that time when you're not looking at tablets, when you're not doing other things, and just sitting around together, playing a game, and enjoying it together. Yes, there are sometimes hurt feelings of this person won, that person won, I'm sad, but all those things are things that learning how to overcome together as a family is good. Like, good sportsmanship is important. Teamwork is important. I love playing cooperative games with my kids, and I really want to do more and more of that with Emma and Logan and Scotty and Violet as they grow up. I played Marvel Champions with Scotty now, which is crazy to me. And there's so many more games that we can all play. Scotty and Violet also really enjoy Fallout Shelter, and they really enjoy Marvel Splendor. It's just fun playing all these different games with kids, and just meet your kids where they're at with a game. Don't be trying to force them to play something like far in the future, like that they're not ready for. Like, it doesn't impress any of us when you're like, my kid plays Twilight Imperium, my kid plays Lacerda, you know? It's not like, okay, we get it, you forced your kid to like grow up too fast. Like, let your kids enjoy things at the age that they're at. And it's just really fun to, I mean, they're only going to be small for so long, you know? Try to enjoy their babiness while it lasts. For Favorite Game Friday, can you ask people to come up with a re-theme for Strike? Not all of us like the Gladiators and Arena theme. Well, they did come out with a version of it that was casting spells for Hogwarts or whatever, I think. But yeah, that's hilarious. Normally we talk about our favorite games, not necessarily re-theming stuff, but that'd be pretty fun. Where are the questions? I know I'm so far behind. Oh, wow. Have you tried Mike's surfboard yet? I have Mike's surfboard. I actually walked over to his house and carried it back through the neighborhood, even though the HOA lady was like, what are you doing here? But yeah, no, I haven't tried it yet. I really want to. surfing is one of those interesting things of like, I would have to be out in the water sort of by myself-ish. So it's kind of hard to do with kids. So it's kind of like I need one of those weekends where it's just me and Ruthie and we can go out there and have like a beach date time. It'd be cool to mess around with the surfboard at that point. But I did like mount it to my wall, like over like my back door. And it looks really cool, like hanging up there. Like I have a surfboard. I really need to actually try it out. But yes, I haven't been able to try it out yet, but I'm super grateful to Mike for letting me have it. And technically I said, hey, if you ever come back to Miami, you can always have the surfboard back or borrow it. He's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it in Indiana because he won't be that close to the water, I'm guessing. So there's that. Kabuki Kid in the house. Da, 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 da. I'm sure you've been in the house for quite a while now. Oh goodness. What is your preferred way to play Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth? They have a couple different modes now. So this game actually makes me a little bit sad because it's such a long campaign, it's really hard for me to get to the table. The last time I played it was when we played it on the channel here. Me and Wendy played it together, and we just played like the beginning of a scenario. Maybe we played a couple games or just like one game, and we weren't able to get into it very far. We haven't even continued that campaign or anything like that. I really wish they would come out with modes that are just one-shots. And if that's a thing now, let me know because that would be amazing. But I want something that I can just throw on the table, play it once, and that'd be the whole game. Because I really enjoy the system. I really enjoy how it all comes together. I really enjoy the characters, but I can't get to the table because it's a campaign and we're always playing something new at work, and just finding the time to get back to it is so hard. But yeah, let's see. Oh snap. Let's see, what would be good? I have to skim over the repeat questions. Favorite strong bad email. Oh my goodness, I love this question. Wow. I mean, there's so many deep cuts I could go with, but it's gotta start with the Trogdor one, because of course, you know, drawing a dragon. How do you draw a dragon? And then Trogdor and the whole like mythology that came behind that. If you don't know, Strong Bad Emails is a like web video flash series that I used to watch like crazy when they were all coming out all the time. It's homestarrunner.net or .com or whatever it is, homestarrunner.com, and it was just all these crazy stuff. I think most of their stuff's on YouTube now, so you can go back and watch it. I like the one where he tried to draw an anime character, and it came out very much like Mega Man. That's pretty cool. I like the techno one. I like the come on and get in the boat, fish. Come on and get in the boat, fish, fish. Anyway, there's so many good, and I know people are just like, whenever people talk about Strong Bad, they have, people who don't know about it have no clue. And the people that do know about it flip out. They're like, oh my goodness, Teen Girl Squad. It's funny. I think it's still worth going back and checking out. Like if you search Strong Bad on YouTube, some of that stuff's pretty funny. Especially the more you watch of it, the more funny it gets. Chris said my Migs Briars result is getting it done. I do have a work ethic here and there sometimes. I think it's funny when like people end up with a question mark and it's like, is that for me? Oh no, that's just for the chat. I think you would like it. Have you played Hoplomachus? I haven't played yet. Chip Theory stuff, I do enjoy their stuff that I've played, but for some reason a lot of times their rules are a little bit more esoteric. So it's hard for me to get it to the table, or hard for people to even teach it to me. That's one of the interesting things that I find about game design, is that so many publishers make really good games with really esoteric rules. And I think a lot of times it's because they want their game to be different. Like they're like, I want my game, and I'm not saying this about Hoplomachus. Let me just take that off the screen because I haven't played Hoplomachus, so I don't know. But I'm just thinking about like other, like I really enjoyed their game. Oh, what is that tower defense game called? Anyway, their tower defense game where you have the poker chips and they're all coming in trying to attack your base. I really enjoyed that game. I played it with Mike, but the rules are like not easy to like stick in your brain, and it's not like an intuitive game. And one of the things I really love about games when they're intuitive is just how easy they are to get back to the table, how easy it is to teach new people. And I think so many designers and so many publishers want to make something that nobody's ever done before, or it's so different, or it's like complicated for complicated's sake. And there's a lot of publishers that like make games that way. And I mean, honestly, I think when you design something, you should try to make it, yes, different, but also make it intuitive so that way people can easily jump into games, you know? I love it when it's like, oh, wow, this just makes sense because that's the way it is, or that's the way it should be. That's really cool. But I think like bringing a game down to just its bare basics and figuring out a way to make that solid and just really good is like a really important thing. And you can see it when like the really like well-selling games are really intuitive and really easy to get into, and they just kind of make sense. Not necessarily the most highly regarded games, because people highly regard games that are really complex and really hard, and also people that aren't going to like the game aren't going to play that game in general, so that you don't have people naysaying against that game anyway. Or they're like, oh, it's heavy, so I respect it. It's not for me, but I respect it. But I think if you really want to have a game that's like a smash hit or like really works well for people, you have to make it simple to get into. But I do want to play Hoplomachus. That would be cool. That has nothing to do with what I just said. It's just making me think of Chip Theory in general. Because sometimes I see their games and I get intimidated. But I really want to play more of them. Let's see. Did you ever finish Destinies? Also, do you enjoy Pop-Tarts? 2 questions, both equally as important. So yeah, I haven't played all of Destinies. I've played a bunch of it. I'm actually not like trying to rush through all of it. I really want to play the new stuff as well. I played several of the games. Mostly I played with Chris and Wendy. I played one with Chris and Mike. But yeah, I haven't played every single one of them. I think I've played at least half of them, if not more than half of them at this point, that come in the base game and the expansion. And I know they're coming out with a whole new expansion, like the Witchwood stuff, and I'm really excited about trying that as well. I'm trying to save some of it for when I actually get it to the table with Ruthie, just because like I want to play games of it that I haven't played yet. So I keep saying that I want to play that one with Ruthie, and I haven't yet. So that's one of the games that I really need to get out and play with her. I think it'd be really fun. Also, do you enjoy Pop-Tarts? I just bought my kids Pop-Tarts yesterday. They got the s'mores Pop-Tarts. I like Pop-Tarts. I try to do occasional intermittent fasting and keto, so I mostly skip breakfast, and I haven't done keto in a bit. But last I checked, I don't think Pop-Tarts... I think Pop-Tarts are the antithesis of keto and weight loss, so I probably try not to do that. But they are good, regardless. I like Pop-Tarts. But yeah. So I'll be the bad parent and let my kids eat Pop-Tarts instead. Oh, wow, we're like actually over time. Let's see if I can skim and get a couple more things here real quick. Because, I don't know. I really enjoy doing Q&As. It's a lot of fun. Where is the questions? Oh, wow, so many people talking about all sorts of stuff. Oh, wow. Let's randomly do this. What is your top 5 movie villains? I really enjoyed Thanos from Marvel. I'm not going to put him in any real order. I enjoyed Thanos from Marvel just because, like, I didn't know if they were... Because knowing a little bit of the story, I didn't know if they were actually going to do the whole snap thing and actually have everybody die. I'm like, are they actually going to have everybody die? I mean, I know it's a spoiler. Sorry. But yeah, his motivation is kind of wonky in the movies, but I just like that he's like a super smart villain that they try to make a little bit relatable in some ways. Who else do I really like? Wow, it's going to be hard to go for 5. Honestly, I'm normally way more on the hero side in stuff. If you said top 5 heroes, it'd be so much more easy for me. Just normally because I'm not into villains as much. I like the good guys. I like the good guys to win. I like people doing good stuff. But I always find it interesting when you have villains that have those interesting motives. Maybe Knives from Trigun. He's a terrible villain. I guess that's not a movie. That's an anime. Um, what else? Yeah, honestly, I like anime villains more than I like regular movie villains, because anime villains normally have way more stuff going on. Like Light from Death Note is like a terrible, terrible person. And it's just crazy to watch him. Like you definitely hate him as you're watching that show, but you're just gripped to see, like, is he gonna get caught? Is this stuff gonna happen? Like Pain in Naruto. Like there's so many different anime villains. They're legitimately better than regular movie villains when you're actually super into that stuff, and the motivation behind characters in a lot of animes are way deeper than stuff in movies, you know. But you also have like seasons and seasons of stuff to build up all of that tension, you know, so it makes it really interesting. Anyway, I definitely cheated on that one, didn't answer at all. Spoilers! They're saying spoilers. What is the last concert you went to? Mine was Pop Evil. What concert did we go to last? I know we drove all the way to South Carolina to go see Cruella, and that was a blast. We've gone to a bunch of emo nights where they just play music with a DJ. So that's not really a real full-on concert. I really enjoy going to concerts. I really enjoy seeing bands play. It was probably one of the bands we saw play at La Rosa. We went to this alternative bar where one of Kenny's friends' bands was playing, and then me and Ruthie went there several times again. We saw some ska bands playing. We saw some industrial bands playing on a different night. Me and Ruthie are planning on going to When We Were Young Festival in October in Vegas, and that'll be a blast. There's so many of my favorite bands there. Like, the bands that I really like are just there, like almost all of them. So I'm super stoked. I've never seen Blink-182. I've never seen Green Day. I'm really excited about seeing both of those. There's so many good bands. I'm excited about seeing MXPX again because it's been years since I've seen them. But there's just so many good bands that are going to be there. But yeah, that is my Q&A. I do want to thank everybody for coming out and asking a bunch of different questions. We have a ton of amazing stuff coming up for the rest of the week. I know that Tom has his At the Table a little bit later today. We're going to have a live play tomorrow of Unmatched. So if you want to see me and Z playing Unmatched against, or not against each other, against the bad guy we're playing up against, make sure to check that out tomorrow. I know we have a zombie side later on the week as a live play. We have lots of different stuff going on. We have all of our normal stuff going on as well. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks everybody for all the nice questions and all the positivity. You're all the best. But yeah, I can't wait to do even more stuff. And you guys are the best. But yeah, I will see you next time. I've been Roy Cannaday. See you then.